basically, this was a really big week for me. In one day, I turned 900 and say like $20 into 14K. Now I'm going to go through all of the events that happened on this day, what trades I made, so on and so forth. But this was so wild, right? So basically, Luna has collapsed. It was uncertain for a couple of days, and then basically on the 12th of May, it just went to zero. Almost zero. As you can see here, look how many decimals there are here. People are still trading this, and it's very much become sort of like a meme token within the community, and it's attracted lots of like retail and degens. Not that I think that you should trade this. I think most places now have delisted the Luna perp, and so I wasn't able to properly short this thing to zero. And there are a couple of events that occurred that prevented me from doubling down on my short. But I'll go through some of these events and just how wild it was. But I was very much late to the Luna trade, so I will go here and I will show you like around roughly where I got in, right? I mean, look how much lower it went. And this is where I stopped shorting, which is crazy. So let me just zoom in here. Is this the right one? Yeah, it is. Okay. So if I just go in closer, yep. And if I just take off some of these moving averages as well, it just might make it more clearer. And so effectively what happened is that I went short here and I covered here, but that's only like say a 70% return, but I ended up making like 1,200% return in total. But I'll speak more about that in a second, and I'll tell you why exactly I actually went in to short Luna. Typically, I don't short crypto because it doesn't really make sense, because it's way more profitable to go long than to go short, because when you're going long, a token can go up, hundreds of and thousands of percent over the space of weeks and even months. However, if you're going short, you can only make 100% return on your capital, right? Because it can only ever go to zero. But when you're using leverage, you can, juice up those returns quite a bit. And that's what I did when doing this a particular Luna short. But I'll tell you why I actually got into this Luna short. So Doke1, he'd been silent for a while. Luna was in its death spiral. UST had depegged. And then he put out this tweet here. He said basically, they just gave an update of what was going on, so on and so forth. And one of the things that really stood out to me was this part here, part 7. So they're endorsing the community proposal to increase base pool from 50 mil to 100 mil and decrease pool recovery block from 36 to 18. And this will increase minting capacity from 293 million to 1.2 billion. So in essence, what that meant is that they were just going to hyperinflate the supply of Luna. So previously, there was only a certain amount of Luna that you could actually mint when burning UST. So if you know how the peg is restored, if UST is below $1, you can burn it for $1 worth of Luna, and then you can sell that off into the market, and then you can repeat that ARB. But effectively, they had capped that to 293 million Luna that could be burned, that could be minted per day. And now that cap was lifted up to $1.2 billion worth of Luna. Now UST was massively off peg. Luna was actually, the market cap was trading way below UST. And when that happens, a bit of a death spiral occurs. And so what I took from this tweet and the whole, the sentiment as a whole, was that this was going to go through and they were going to hyperinflate the supply of Luna. And when you hyperinflate the supply of anything, the value of it goes down. Other countries around the world and throughout history have done this hyperinflationary stuff. Never worked. It always crashed the token price. I mean, even in DeFi, we can see that when something's giving out like a 1 billion % APY, there's so much supply going onto the market, it's naturally going to tank the price. And so I saw that and I was like, right, I've got to go short now. And what I was using was the MACD. So I've got this calibrated to the fast length is 6 and slow length is 20. Basically, I went short on a bearish turn on the MACD. So whenever this red appeared, I was like, right, this is the time to short. Luna's going down. We have a really bad catalyst here. Like, let's go. I mean, I think I was 15 minutes late to this announcement by Doke1 as well. And so the market had already taken a bit of it was down 11% already. And then I decided to go in. And then as we kept going down further and further and further, what I did to compound my gains was I added more and more leverage to my short. So initially, I think within like 15 minutes or something like that, it was like ridiculously early, right? I'd already like doubled my Drift Racers account. And as more and more time was going by, what I would do is I would unload like 1K clips of, you know, shorts into the market, and I just kept doing that and doing it and doing it. And I think at one stage I added like I think I did it like 30 times just as time went along here. I just kept adding and adding and adding and adding and adding to that short. And I think my like overall open interest at one point was like maybe 100K from my initial like $920, which was crazy. I mean, these numbers might not be fully correct. I can't actually access my previous trades because the Drift exchange right now is currently frozen due to some bugs that occurred. Like I think Luna like really screwed up Drift because basically it went to 0 and everyone was short, and they paused funding rates. And so it was just a really wacky day. Oh yeah, and that's one thing, right? So when I throw up those P&L numbers on the screen, they're going to look different to what you see on the chart that I'm showing you here. And basically the reason for that is the prices on Drift were way off what the Oracle prices were, and that's because they paused the funding rates. And when there's no funding rates, there's no incentive for people to actually keep the perpetual futures price close to the index price, and therefore it's like way off. And so, you know, on this screen it says like I finally exited the trade at like $1.05, but you know, in actual reality it would have been around like, you know, 92 cents roughly or something like that. And that's why that occurred. And also you can see here that it says my leverage wasn't that high, and as my like position grew, I was able to short more and more and more, which is, you know, which is really nice actually. And I made a ton of money from this Luna short. And I think basically what happened as well is that they paused the exchange the first time on the way back up here, so I was able to get out. I avoided liquidation. I think I closed all my positions off like 10 or 15 minutes before they you know, closed the exchange, and then I was unable to short Luna anymore. And basically you know, the exchange has been frozen. You can't do any trades for until Monday, I think, depending on when you're watching this video. I think Thursday is the time when they're going to announce exactly what's going to happen. But as you can see here, I think roughly around this stage is when Luna hyperinflation like really started, and then I mean he still went down like 99%. So people were like trying to be heroes, like, oh, Luna's already down like 99%. I'm gonna buy more. As you can see here, these are people buying, right? No, I just created even further, like it's absolutely ridiculous. And you can actually just see on my page, right? I posted this here at like 11:54 a.m. I'm shorting 58% P&L, and then as you can see, as time went by, not finished yet, 187%, 278%, and you can just see the euphoria coming through my screen, right? And I just kept updating it over time. As you can see here, I think this was about 1:50 p.m. UTC. And then I closed all of my positions at, you know, roughly around this time. And this is my peak P&L. So I don't think I made exactly this. It might have been a lower amount. And you know what? I think I could have made more money because Solana TPS was just like almost like 1,000 or something like that, or like 1,500 for the most part. And so when that happens, you can't really get transactions to go through. I had to put in like a lot of these orders. I couldn't put in any more than like 1K to the short, and I had to put my slippage at like 10% for the trades to actually go through, which was really crazy. It was like I was trading you know, a trash altcoin with like no liquidity. And I think the problem was that basically everyone was going short and no one was going long on Drift. And so when I actually went to close my position, I could close it like that with no slippage, and I was covering like a bunch of other people's orders as well. But yeah, basically the Luna trade's not over. There is so much volatility here that you can really trade it very well. The Luna trade's not over, but I don't think I'll be trading it again, because on most sort of decentralized perpetual futures dexes, I think they've all delisted Luna, which I think makes sense, because at this stage you're just throwing away money trying to trade it for the most part, and it might just wreck all of the oracles. And I think Chainlink at one point just halted all price feeds for Luna because it was just way off, and that caused like a bunch of liquidations across the DeFi ecosystem as well. And so, there are still opportunities out there to short other tokens, like Near, for example. They recently launched their own algo stable, as well as Tron, which launched their own algo stable. If I go into Near, this thing has been hit really hard as well. In the Luna death spiral, you can see that people thought that Near might have a problem. So this went down really bad. Tron got hammered. Frax share got hammered really bad as well, because basically they have a partial algorithmic backing too. As you can see here, it had like if I go on this day, that had a 24% down day. This had a 33% down day, and it's still going down, down, down. And I think at this stage, one of the lessons that we have learned from Luna and algo stables that have blown up before is that no algo stable is really safe. You need full collateralization. If you don't have full collateralization, someone's going to come out there, or some sort of black swan event is going to come out and wipe out your token. And so when Drift unpaused their exchange, I went in to look for some risk-free trades, and basically, as I said before, the prices on Drift were way off what the real Oracle prices were. And so I looked to make a couple of ARBs. So I shorted the Sol Perp and Avalanche Perp because they were way above the index price. And then I bought spot on Jupiter. And so I had to withdraw like, I think half of my my money off of Drift. And then I went and bought spot on Jupiter. And then I did this. But then they froze the Drift exchange again, and so these are my like positions before the freeze. So you can see here I shorted Sol Perp and Avax Perp. So we'll see what happens on Thursday when trading resumes and people are able to withdraw. But yeah, this was a really wild trading environment. I'm super happy about the results that happened here. Sad for what happened to people, but I tend to think that because you're in crypto, you're still early. Like crypto it's about a $1.3 trillion industry right now. This thing could easily go to 10 trillion. And so for right now, we're still early. There's still lots of opportunities out there to 10x your wealth. And so if you did get hit hard by, the collapse of Luna and UST, just make sure to stick around and know that we're all going to make it. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and make sure to subscribe for more videos like this one.